Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. We have some more new info about Guilty Gear Strive today, and this comes to us by way of the Red Bull Kumite in London. Specifically, we're getting a look at some modes that we've never had a chance to look at before. The mission mode, which is the true tutorial of the game, not the thing that's actually marked tutorial, sadly, and also about online lobbies. Now, before we get directly to it, I just want to talk about the event itself for a moment, as it was a great event. There was interviews, including an interview with the developers, which we'll cover at the end of this video, a bunch of showcase matches with very good players playing a lot of the characters, including a Sonic Fox versus Goichi match. So if you want to check all this in full, check out the Red Bull Twitch channel and there will be an archive there for you. That all said though, let's take a look now at the mission mode, which is once again the true tutorial of Guilty Gear Strive. So the mission mode tutorial is basically broken into regions. The castle area is the easiest stuff, and the hell area is where a lot of the most advanced concepts are. And this will teach you the most basic, just beginner fighting game stuff to a lot of pretty advanced concepts. You can see here the castle area, just a lot of beginner concepts here, dashing, movement, backdashes, super jumps. If you know all this stuff, hey, truly fantastic, right? But it was not going to take assumptions. One of the big things of Guilty Gear Strive is trying to get a lot of newer players into fighting games, and this is the kind of stuff they need to know, so happy it is there. After all, if you don't know the base mechanics, well, you're not going to get too far. So in this example mission right here, it is just trying to show you how to use the Psych Burst to burst out of combos. And as you can see here, you got a bunch of cogs, and it's basically like a fail or pass state. To get past these tutorials, you have to successfully do it at least 3 out of 5 times. Doing it multiple times, just repetition, helps you understand better just what's going on. Don't get lucky once and then you move on to the next thing. The mission mode really wants to make sure you understand what it is, therefore you got to pass it 3 out of 5 times. When you successfully do so, awesome, you rock! And then it's time to move on to the next concept. You can see going from the castle area to the next area, the forest area, well, then things get more advanced. Air dashing, air backdashing, jump canceling, knockdown, soft knockdown or hard knockdowns, the concepts of lows and overheads, all that kind of stuff. It's all there for you. And once again, each successive area, the concepts get a lot more difficult, a lot more advanced, to help you just understand the flow of both the game and fighting games in general. On the much more advanced end of things, it'll show you how to defeat a lot of concepts. This one I actually didn't know. I thought Ino's reversal was just safe on block, right? Her invincible super. But no, now thanks to this mission, me watching this, I now know you block the first hit and then you punish her before the second hit goes live. If you block the second hit, then yeah, she's safe. But if you successfully block the first hit, well, then you get to punish her. This is something I think is awesome. Honestly, it would probably take me a good while to have figured this one out in myself that there was a gap there. So the fact that it's in the tutorial, the game itself teaches you this fact, so there's no mystery about the situation. I think that is truly and fully fantastic. Here, I never expected this. Potemkin's Kara command grabs are in the tutorial. It is an expected thing for you to learn. I myself, I've gushed about this on YouTube, I've gushed about this on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter too, by the way, if you don't already. But yeah, this is something I never would have expected. And once again, if you're not aware, it's you canceling the beginning of the animation of forward kick, his shoulder charge, into the Potemkin Buster. So you start sliding forward with your Potemkin Buster, which gives it just a lot more range than it otherwise would ever have. I was good to figure this out because I got many years of fighting game experience and all that, and this concept exists in many other games. But the fact that it's in the game itself to teach you, wow, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. That is truly fantastic. Wow. Also makes me feel pretty happy because now I know it's intentional, so therefore it's not going to be removed from the game, so that's also a thumbs up right there. But right there, that is just simply, sincerely, a level of depth I never would have expected them to go into. But it's right there in the game for you to learn. So all the stuff from the basics of just movement to very advanced concepts like animation canceling specials into other specials, the Kara cancel. So thumbs up, kudos to Arc System Works. We can see some of the other things here in the Hell area level of the mission mode. So applications of Roman cancels, abusing super freeze, instant blocks, punishing bursts, all that kind of stuff. So I think this mode's just going to be fantastic. This will definitely be further and above and beyond the usual fighting game training mode stuff. Reminds me almost of Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution, which was the gold standard of all training modes in all fighting game history. Another thing that was showcased is the private lobbies. So we know the big open lobbies, sure, but you can make your own private lobbies and invite whoever you like. This was not in the beta, but it will be in the launch version of the game, and there is a lot of things you can set in this. So instead of the stuffy old castle or the park outside, this is your private summer home, you know, your vacation residence or something like that. So yeah, plenty of room to have a bunch of your close friends over, and you don't have to worrying about other public people if that's what you're looking for. But the big thing here is, on top of just, you know, private matchmaking, you know, inviting your friends, all that, it has online training mode. This is a feature that is very rarely in fighting games, a feature I fought for very often in many games, and the fact that it is there, thank you so much, Arc System Works. That makes my job a lot easier, helping out a lot of people, and I'm sure it's going to make a lot of people's lives a lot easier overall. It's much more frustrating to try to teach someone something online when you have to do it in the confines of a regular match, and then health runs out, and people die, timeouts, all that kind of stuff. Just proper training mode is awesome. And yes, in case you're wondering, there's also spectator modes and all that kind of stuff. So it's just a solid lobby if that's what you're looking for. It's basically a shame these features were not shown off in the beta, both this lobby system here, the private lobbies, and the mission modes, the real tutorials, because, you know, people complained about both. And if you had the mission mode available, you definitely would have said how bad the tutorial was, because all that is there for you. The base tutorial, the one that was in the beta, yeah, that kind of sucked, honestly. But now we know we have a lot better to work with, and having these private lobbies just makes matchmaking, playing with your friends, all that kind of stuff, it'll make it so much easier. So I also mentioned here, there was quite a few interviews, and the big one here was with Arc System Works developers themselves. Although really briefly before we get into it, I just want to say there was a lot of Potemkin slander on the stream, and I don't stand for it. I know Potemkin scares weak people, as he is very mighty, but calm down on that, thank you very much. So for the interview itself, there was a few questions asked here. First one here, what are some of the challenges in redesigning the battle system to appeal to both new players and keep the legacy players happy? And their answer was the new system is there specifically to help a lot of new players, but also to keep some ties of the past with the legacy players. Something fresh for the future, which is why changes would be made, because they basically didn't want to remake the exact same game, because the game already exists if you want exactly that. So this is a new game, and they got new stuff going forward. When asked about the netcode, and once again, if you are not aware, Guilty Gear Strive sets the new gold standard in netcode for fighting games. They stated here they purposely had netcode in mind from the very beginning, although, you know, why was the first beta delay base then, but whatever, right? And they are very happy with the outcome of how everyone is treating it, which, fair enough. How hard is it to translate some of the characters over from the older games to the new games, was one of the questions asked. And to be fair, quite a few characters, they're different, right? So how difficult was it? And they said specifically on that people viewed Guilty Gear as a game based on the character-specific systems, right? So there was some issues importing some characters from the older games to the new games, but they want to create a world where people can come in and everything is accessible, like just play-wise, gameplay-wise, but has a lot of depth and longevity, and that's kind of what they're going for, and hopefully they accomplish it. And they said overall, just doing exactly that was a very difficult task. And finally, the main last question was, how much do you weigh the player feedback? Obviously, we had all the surveys and all that kind of stuff. So how much do you weigh that versus your own vision for the game? And they stated here, they have both their creative internal vision in mind of what they want the game to be, but feedback is also important to them. They do have their eyes open on the public discourse, and especially in regards to the beta, and I think that's a decent way to put it. One of the big complaints about older betas was the damage was too high, right? And they stated their vision for the game is this is a high damage game. And in the most recent beta, the damage, well, it was still high, but it wasn't as high as it was before. So they're maintaining their initial creative vision of high damage game, but yeah, they tweaked it just a little bit because enough people spoke up about it. And that, my friends, is a lot of what happened at the Red Bull Kumite. If you want to see even more interviews with a lot of the players and a lot of the people playing the game itself here in these matches, please check the Twitch Red Bull channel. It'll be up there in the archives. And other than that, I'm very happy with what I've seen today. Obviously, I'm very much looking forward to the game. I think it's very fair to say that. But especially the mission mode, seeing the depth there, I think a lot of people are going to be very happy. And I think they are going to accomplish their goal of bringing in a lot of new players. Because if the tutorial is that good, if you can wrap your head a lot of the concepts of the game early on in the gameplay's life, I think that'll keep player retention pretty high and you'll create a lot more FGC lifers. But anyways, my friends, I'm rambling too much, so that is the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Guilty Gear.